Hey there, Doc. Are you in chiropractic for the right reasons? I mean, are you really there to serve? Now, I know you're going to respond with this enthusiastic yes, but let's break this down a little bit more. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Dr. Scott on a very rainy Wednesday here in Iowa. Thanks for having coffee with me this morning. Last week, with Imperfect Case Acceptance, we talked about it being time to do a little bit of self-assessment. And I use the term self-assessment loosely because it's almost impossible to see yourself objectively in this regard of pushing a patient too far. And we talked about that last week, about being in that mindset of accepting what a patient brought to us. And we're going to dig into that a little deeper today. So stick around for that. Before we get there, let's get to the question of the day, which goes right along with that mindset. Do you remember why you wanted to become a chiropractor in the first place? Or the day you decided to take this path? So this could be a fun question. Share those with me down below. And for those of you who are out there lurking, and I know there's a lot of you, I look at my stats at the end of the day. I see how many of you are watching, and actually watching all the way through the show, no comments from you. So the cost of this show, the fee I charge is one comment. And I want you to share if you remember why you wanted to become a chiropractor in the first place. Or again, maybe the day you decided to take this path, share that with us. And I'll be honest, when it comes to a service mindset, my reason for becoming a chiropractor is exactly the opposite of that. So my answer to that question is I was actually had every intention when I was in college, my sophomore year. I was a math major with an economics minor, planning to go get afterwards go get my MBA. I had a complete business mindset. Between my sophomore and junior years, I actually spent some time with a physical therapist working with spinal cord injuries, and I decided to go into physical therapy. And it wasn't until December of my senior year of college, while I was applying to physical therapy schools, that I sat down with a chiropractor, and he explained to me basically that as a chiropractor, I was my own doctor, and at the time, being a physical therapist, I would not have been able to do that, and I wouldn't have to kiss doctors' butts to get referrals. That's basically what sold me, is that I would be able to get portal of entry. I was like, okay. 20 minutes later, I was going to chiropractic school. So zero big story about that. It wasn't until later, really after school, that I kind of got into the philosophy and started getting into the service mindset that we're going to be talking about today. So I want you to share your story with me in the comments down below. Maybe we can start a little conversation about that. And again, today we're going to be talking about you being in a service mindset. Are you there to serve people? Last week we talked again about you pushing in a state of presenting a case and expecting more from the patient than they want to give you. And I kind of mentioned that the patient knows, they get it. And us not showing our approval or our disapproval or our disappointment to patients when they don't go for the comprehensive approach, it's really almost impossible. It's like we unconsciously communicate to the patient that we've just realized that they have nothing to offer us. They can see it in our eyes. So although most of you, I think, score pretty well in regard to being there for service, I think we need to be careful because it's human nature to be self-centered and always be asking what's in it for us, what's in it for me. So when a new patient sits in front of you, it may appear that you have nothing to gain from them because of their emergency-only motivation. But we have to remember that we have the greatest opportunity of all. I always say when I'm in an on-site that the business principles that I teach will work in any business, but I do it in chiropractic because of this great opportunity that we have if we take advantage of it. And that is that we have the chance to serve people. We have a chance to get people well. I maintain that if you help people either out of pain or to get well or increase their immune system or whatever your particular belief system is, you've done a great thing. And ultimately, you're going to be rewarded beyond the financial payoff. Well beyond that. The emotional payoff that we get from this opportunity we have is far greater than the financial, I would say. And now I know you may be saying, hey, Dr. Scott, I've got an overhead to pay. I've got a family to keep in style. If I wanted to go into public service, I would have joined the Peace Corps. I get it. I realize that. But what I can tell you is that the practices that I've worked with that do enjoy perfect case acceptance, they have this true spirit of service. that I've been talking about. You can't fool patients. They can figure out your motives. So what is your motive? Are you trying to make enough money so that you can pay your bills? Are you trying to get ahead? Are you trying to save your age? Are you trying to retire with some sort of dignity? Are you trying to just see how much you can produce for the thrill of it? Are you competitive? Are you obsessively driven to produce just for the sake of producing? If you're normal, you're probably one of those things. That's if you're normal. Otherwise, you may have more than one of those things there. The doctors that I've met that have gone on to lasting validity, which I've already described as the ultimate and overwhelming case acceptance, they're driven by the desire to serve, not to save. Not to save money, not even to save people, just to serve. They want to serve the person in front of them. It's a state of mind that you've got to get yourself into. It's so easy to fool yourself on this, saying, yeah, I'm all about service. And as a consultant, it seems I spend most of my time arguing with my clients. They pay me to tell them what's wrong with their practice. And when I tell them, they argue in favor of what they're already doing. And this is a place where doctors tell me all the time that they're there to serve, but when I observe them, I can tell that they're not. They're thinking about something else. And what's that old saying, right? With clients is if you keep doing what you're doing, then you can keep getting what you're getting. But that's just the same way it seems to work out as a coach. So would you like to know if you have a problem in this area that I'm describing? Would you like to know if you're service driven? It's really this simple. The degree to which you are service driven, and I'm sure it's a longer continuum. I like my continuums. It's not an all or nothing thing. But the degree to which you are service-driven is to the degree to which you're not afraid in your life. And I know that this is a very scary time that we're working in right now, and there's a lot more fear than normal, and I'm talking to people every day that have more fear. And again, my mindset is still to get back into that service-driven mentality, and a lot of that will go away. One of my first coaches, one of my oldest coaches, one of my favorite coaches always told me that if you focus on the debt, the service will go away. If you focus on the service, the debt will go away. I'm going to let that one sink in because it was very impactful to me when I heard it, and I'm hoping it's as impactful for you because it's a big part of what I preach is that when you focus on the debt, the service goes away. When you focus on the service, the debt goes away. So, how much fear do you have? Do you spend your time worrying about your bills or your future or all the things that you don't have or you may never have? Do you worry that we may never get it right politically? Do you worry that this is all a scam? Do you worry about the whole COVID thing? We may never get back to where we're trying to be. Do you worry that you're not getting your share of the money? Do you worry that you won't get exotic travel, cars, the good things, all that kind of stuff? That's right. Fear is a state of mind, and you're either in it or you're not. If you're in it, you're not in the spirit of service, and patients can tell that. And when they can tell that you're not there 100% to serve them, you will always lose that patient if they know that you're not focused on them. They can tell. And when you're not telling them exactly what they need because of that fear, when you're holding back, someone likes this. I see a whole bunch of hearts and likes going across the screen. The reason when you're in that state of service, the reason you have nothing to fear is that you've now got nothing to lose. If your wealth and your reward is a simple privilege of serving those patients, you don't have to worry about losing anything. You're the only person that can take you out of the service-driven mindset. Now, you may fear that this type of thinking that I'm talking about is prelude to being carried away and giving care away too free or too cheaply. My son is tiptoeing down the stairs here to not bother me. You can come say hi, buddy. Being in the spirit of service has nothing to do with giving anything away. Why do you only wear one shoe? Why not put both shoes on so you don't have to skip? Oh, golly!
I don't know.
There he is, big boy. Go start school, bud. All right, quiet now. So that has nothing to do with giving stuff away or working cheaply. It's about placing the patient ahead of your own financial concerns and your own dreams. And if you find that the patient has substantial need for your service and little or no means to afford it, it doesn't mean that you have to step forward and offer free or discounts. It would mean that you'd feel real compassion for that person's dilemma. But what you got to understand is that you're also obligated to serve your own office team, your staff. Most of you probably have a bonus system in place. Hopefully you do if you follow any of my coaching. So you have a responsibility to them as well as to your patients, and it's equal to that of the patients. So it doesn't mean you have to give stuff away for free. That accountability to your staff and their incentive plans is what protects a service-driven doctor from basically descending into poverty and bankruptcy, from giving everything away out of their service-driven motive. I'd like to refer you to something I said earlier, the last couple of weeks. I said that nearly all successful practices are counterintuitive. That means that success really works backwards. It's no difference here in the area of patient case development. The natural thing to do is to try to win a patient over into our way of thinking, and to do it without ever really considering the patient's situation. Unfortunately, this dooms most practices for case acceptance because the patient knows unconsciously that the doctor really isn't there for them. Now, I know this sounds wrong and backwards, but your state of mind, and you've been taught this by other coaches, I'm sure, to push and to focus on what's in it for the practice. But if you focus on what's in it for the patient, you'll never go wrong. Your state of mind will have more impact on your case acceptance than any little trick or script or anything else you can do or anything else you can say, because the patient feels that. I have a doctor in the Midwest who, in my mind, is an absolute phenomenon relative to case acceptance. He's got the highest case acceptance that anyone I've ever worked with. And the sizes of the cases are staggering. And the one thing that stands out about that practice is the staff, when I work with them, they always tell me that he just has a gift with people. He gets with people and he just focuses on them in such a way that the patients are mesmerized. He's there with them and for them. And the patients basically feel helpless in front of this man. Now, he tends to run behind. He shows up late for work. The staff always complains about that. So sometimes, the strength is a weakness and the weakness is a strength. But in this practice, the case acceptance and the size of the cases are unmatched anywhere in the country. And that's his gift. He blocks out everything and he focuses on that patient right in front of him. He listens to them. He gets inside of their skin. He looks at it from their standpoint, and the outcome is absolute incredible patient case acceptance. And if that's what you're looking for, that's the state of mind that you need to get yourself into. That service state of mind. That service-driven state of mind changes the entire power structure of the doctor-patient relationship. And you may think it's giving them power, but in essence, by giving them power, they give it right back to you. Once the patient senses that you've put their well-being above your own financial concerns, to the patient, you now possess that moral authority. The patient may not do everything you ask them to do right there on the spot, but I can tell you this. When they sense that you're there first and foremost just to help them, they're going to feel an overwhelming power pressing on them to seriously consider what you tell them. Regardless of how much it is, of what it is, or how much it's going to cost, they're going to be there wanting to give back to you. It's one of the 6 weapons of influence that we talk about in Referral Mastery, which is coming up tomorrow, is reciprocation. When you give to them, they automatically want to give back to you. So again, it may seem counterintuitive that we're not pushing them along this continuum, but if you're in a service state of mind and you're willing to meet them where they're at and give them what they want, they're more likely to have perfect case acceptance over a period of time. Whew, that was a lot. All right, I see Dennis, Mark all joining us. And if you had missed the question of the day, which I do see that Hector answered, I'm going to have to read that here afterwards because I am running out of time. But the question of the day is, do you remember why you became a chiropractor in the first place? So all of you joining me right now, I see a bunch of you on. You need to answer that question in the comments. That's the cost of today's show. Why did you become a chiropractor in the first place? Or do you remember the day that you decided to take this path? I shared mine, so if you just logged in, wait till I finish and go back and watch the beginning of the show. Again, any chiropractors that are out there lurking, take a moment. Share that story with me. I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear about your service state of mind. I wish you all a wonderful Wednesday. Tomorrow we're coming back with Referral Mastery. Do not miss that one. The Referral Mastery program is gaining some momentum just like the Perfect Case Acceptance one is. I'm having a lot of fun doing this for you. I'm here for you again for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. I think we have planned for you already, continuing to give you daily things to focus on. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this service-driven state of mind. And I will talk to you all tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time.